House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries just delivered one of the most devastating indictments of the Trump administration's foreign policy you will ever hear. He stood before reporters and called the Iran war what it is: Operation Epic Failure. He said it has been a disaster for the American people. He said Donald Trump and Republicans have plunged America into a reckless and costly war of choice that has made our country weaker relative to Iran than the position we were in before the war started. Iran is now stronger. The American people have been forced to pay the price. Higher gas prices, higher food prices, all directly attributable to the Trump-Republican reckless war of choice in Iran.
And Iran, unfortunately, is now stronger. And the American people have been forced to pay the price, including as a result of the higher gas prices and higher food prices that can be directly attributed to the Trump-Republican reckless war of choice in Iran.
Jeffries praised Senate Democrats for passing a war powers resolution demanding that Trump and Republicans end this war once and for all. He said we should not spend another dime of taxpayer dollars on Operation Epic Failure. Then he was asked about the appropriations process. He called it a bridge to nowhere. He said Republicans are jamming their right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people. He said if they keep it up, there will be a problem in September when the fiscal year ends. He said Democrats are willing to sit down and chart a bipartisan path forward, but Republicans are wasting time bringing bills that are dead on arrival in the Senate.
Republicans are just wasting time bringing bills to the House floor that we will strongly oppose and that are dead on arrival in the United States Senate.
Then the question came about Secretary Hegseth. He is coming to Capitol Hill tomorrow to ask for $80 billion more to pay for the Iran war. Jeffries did not hesitate. He said Donald Trump and Secretary Hegseth are responsible for Operation Epic Failure. The notion that they will come to Capitol Hill to try to get an additional $80 billion to continue to waste taxpayer money on an endless war in the Middle East is beyond reckless. Then he said the words that no one expected. When Pete Hegseth comes up to Capitol Hill tomorrow, what he should do is submit his letter of resignation.
When Pete Hegseth comes up to Capitol Hill tomorrow, what he should do is submit his letter of resignation.
Jeffries then ran through the Trump administration's failures. Trump promised to lower costs on day one. Costs have gone up. Trump promised to love and cherish Medicaid. Republicans have enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Trump promised immigration enforcement would target violent felons. Instead, billions of taxpayer dollars are being spent on ICE brutalizing and killing American citizens. Trump promised not to start wars in the Middle East. He started a reckless and costly war of choice. The guy has been a complete and total failure. He is at extinction-level approval ratings.
The guy has been a complete and total failure, so have Republicans, and the American people know it, which is why, at this point in time, Donald Trump is at record low approval ratings. He's at extinction-level approval ratings.
Jeffries ended with a promise. Democrats will lower the high cost of living. They will fix the broken healthcare system. They will clean up corruption. They will get ICE under control. They will end this reckless and costly war of choice. And they will take back control of the House in November to end this national nightmare. Let's watch.
Good afternoon, everyone. Donald Trump and Republicans have plunged America into a reckless and costly war of choice that has been a disaster. House Democrats have opposed this war from the very beginning because we believe that taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not get us involved in another reckless, endless, foreign adventure that actually has made our country weaker relative to Iran than the position that we were in before Donald Trump started this war. And Iran, unfortunately, is now stronger. And the American people have been forced to pay the price, including as a result of the higher gas prices and higher food prices that can be directly attributed to the Trump Republican reckless war of choice in Iran. We're thankful that earlier today, led by Senate Democrats, the Senate passed our War Powers Resolution, demanding that Trump and Republicans end this reckless and costly war of choice in Iran once and for all. And the bottom line is that we shouldn't spend another dime of taxpayer dollars on Operation Epic Failure that has been a disaster for the national security and the economic interests of the American people. Questions?
In two swing seats, the 2nd District in Maine, the 22nd in California, the DCCC endorsed the Democratic candidate who did not advance the general. Is this making you reevaluate how the DCCC plays in contested primaries at all?
No, I have full faith and confidence in the DCCC. Susan DelBene has done a tremendous job, and we're going to take back control of the House of Representatives in November.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. The House has 2 appropriations bills up this week. I'm curious, what do you make of the appropriations process thus far and heading into the campaign season where we'll have a lot of recess, a lot of time out? Do you believe that, the House will make headway on avoiding another government shutdown?
Now, the appropriations process led by House Republicans has been a bridge to nowhere. It's a process that is riddled with extreme Republican ideas. They're trying to jam their right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people. And if they keep it up, we're going to have a problem when we get to September in advance of the end of the fiscal year. That's the reality of the situation. When will these people on the other side of the aisle actually learn the lesson that Democrats are not down with their my way or the highway approach to jamming their right-wing ideology down the throats of the American people? It's just not going to happen. It's gotten them nowhere, and it will continue to get them nowhere. Now, we're willing to sit down with them anytime, any place, with anyone on the other side of the aisle, including within the administration, to actually try to chart a bipartisan path forward to enter into a spending agreement that actually is designed to promote the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the American people. But until we reach that point, Republicans are just wasting time bringing bills to the House floor that we will strongly oppose and that are dead on arrival in the United States Senate. Thanks.
There's reports that Secretary Hegseth is coming to the House Republican Study Committee tomorrow, in part to ask for $80 billion more to pay for the Iran war. Presumably Democrats would not go along with that, but what is your assessment of the need for that, given it's so much more than was originally stated?
Donald Trump and Secretary Hegseth are responsible for Operation Epic Failure. Their reckless and costly war of choice has been a disaster for the American people. And the notion that they'll come up to Capitol Hill to try to get an additional $80 billion to continue to waste taxpayer money on an endless war in the Middle East that Donald Trump promised he wouldn't start but would stop is beyond reckless. When Pete Hegseth comes up to Capitol Hill tomorrow, what he should do is submit his letter of resignation.
Mr. Leader, have you made a decision on whether you're endorsing Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Florida 20 now that all the candidates have qualified for the August primary?
Today we're focused on New York City, on New York State, on Utah, and on Maryland. And then we'll have a set of primaries the week after, and then we'll have some more primaries in July, including but not limited to an important one in Arizona. And then we'll have several primaries in early August, and then we'll have the primaries in February. So we're taking it one step at a time, but as I've made clear, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a strong, highly accomplished, hard-working leader within the House Democratic Caucus.
Question on Iran.
Yeah.
The Khan resolution process under the War Powers Act is contested. What's the next step? It's passed in the chamber. Are you going to try to take this to court to find a way to enforce this on the president?
Well, we'll have a conversation led by Congressman Greg Meeks, Congressman Jim Himes, and Congressman Adam Smith about next steps. But it's clear that House and Senate Democrats are on the side of the American people who reject this reckless and costly war of choice that has been a clear and total disaster for the American people. And, you know, it's part of the reality that the Trump presidency has been a complete failure. I mean, this guy promised that he was going to lower costs on day one. Costs haven't gone down. They've gone up. Donald Trump promised that he was going to love and cherish Medicaid. Instead, Republicans have enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, ripping health care away from millions of Americans. Donald Trump and Republicans promised that immigration enforcement in this country was going to target violent felons who are here illegally. Instead, billions of taxpayer dollars are being spent on ICE, brutalizing and killing American citizens or violently targeting law-abiding immigrant families. Donald Trump and Republicans promised that they were in office not to start wars in the Middle East, but to stop them, turned around and got us into a reckless and costly war of choice in the Middle East. The guy has been a complete and total failure, so have Republicans, and the American people know it, which is why, at this point in time, Donald Trump is at record low approval ratings. He's at extinction level approval ratings for Republicans in the House and increasingly in the Senate. And as Democrats, listen, we've been clear. Our objective is to lower the high cost of living, to make sure that everyday Americans, when they work hard and play by the rules, can live an affordable life, a comfortable life, and a good life. We're going to fix our broken healthcare system. We're going to clean up corruption. We're going to get ICE under control. And we're going to end this reckless and costly war of choice one way or the other.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Do you support the Kids Online Safety Agreement that came out of the House Energy and Commerce Committee on a bipartisan basis yesterday?
Yeah, it's a meaningful step in the right direction, but I haven't had a conversation with Frank Pallone. We'll meet as ranking members with leadership tomorrow. I look forward to his presentation. But it is clear to me that at minimum, it's a meaningful step in the right direction, and I salute Frank Pallone on his leadership. Thanks.
I want to ask about the New York races tonight, since you mentioned that. Are you worried at all about the influence of the Democratic Socialists in primaries there and across the country?
Well, there are 4 races in New York City, and I'm standing behind every single one of those races that involve an incumbent, of course, and that's Adriano Espaillat, Dan Goldman, Yvette Clarke, and Grace Meng. And then we're watching closely 2 open seat races that House Democratic leadership hasn't gotten involved in by custom. And that, of course, is in the 7th Congressional District, where Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez and a coalition of very progressive Democrats, including Tish James, the Attorney General, and the public advocate Jumaane Williams, along with the Working Families Party and many of the unions that we work closely with, are on one side of that race, with DSA on the other. We'll see what happens. That is the most gentrified district in the nation, by far. We'll see what happens. And then, of course, we're watching closely what takes place in New York 17, which is a race to select the Democratic nominee to take down and defeat Mike Lawler in November.
America 250 is coming up, the 250th anniversary. There's 2 different organizations that have been organizing all of these events, America 250 and Freedom 250. Are you able to describe what your understanding is of the difference between those 2?
Well, it's my understanding, I guess, that Freedom 250 is closely connected to Donald Trump and Vanilla Ice, and we see how that's worked out. in terms of what's going to take place on the Washington Mall. That is such an embarrassment. Like this America 250 celebration, which I believe is the nonpartisan organization, should be the vehicle for celebrating America. Because it's not about any one individual who currently happens to be the President of the United States of America, who's doing a terrible job, and the American people know it. The America 250 celebration is about lifting up who we are as a people, what makes America the greatest nation in the history of the world. Our values like liberty and justice for all, free and fair elections, equal protection under the law. Not a perfect country, but a country that is always committed to marching toward a more perfect union. And we look forward to, as House Democrats, leaning into the America 250 celebrations, and we've encouraged members to do it. And then we look forward to taking back control of the House of Representatives in November to end this national nightmare in America and continue our country's great march toward a more perfect union. Thank you all.
This press conference is a masterclass in how to frame an opposition narrative. Hakeem Jeffries did not come to ask questions. He did not come to engage in a debate. He came to deliver a verdict. The Iran war is a disaster. The administration is a failure. The Secretary of Defense should resign. And the American people are suffering because of it. Every word he spoke was carefully chosen to reinforce that narrative, to build a case against the Trump administration, and to position Democrats as the only party capable of offering a solution. This is not a random press conference. It is a strategic intervention designed to shape the political landscape heading into the November elections. Jeffries knows that the war in Iran is unpopular. He knows that gas prices are hurting families. He knows that the administration's approval ratings are in freefall, and he is using every tool at his disposal to exploit those vulnerabilities. Jeffries began by defining the war on Democratic terms. He called it a reckless and costly war of choice. That is not a neutral description. That is a framing. A war of choice implies that the administration could have chosen otherwise. It implies that there was no existential threat, no immediate danger, no compelling reason to go to war. It implies that Donald Trump made a decision based on ego, not on national security. That is a devastating accusation. It strips the war of any moral or strategic justification. It reduces it to a vanity project. Jeffries then added the word reckless. Reckless means careless, irresponsible, indifferent to consequences. It suggests that the administration did not think through the costs, did not consider the risks, did not care about the American lives that would be lost or the American families that would be affected. It is a word that evokes images of a driver speeding through a school zone, ignoring the children, ignoring the signs, ignoring everything except their own desire to go fast. That is the image Jeffries is trying to plant in the minds of the American people. A reckless president, a reckless war, a reckless administration that does not care about the consequences. Jeffries then said the war has made America weaker relative to Iran. That is a strategic argument. It is not just about morality. It is about effectiveness. The administration claimed the war was necessary to make America safer. Jeffries is saying the opposite. He is saying Iran is now stronger than before. That is a direct challenge to the administration's core justification. If the war made Iran stronger, then the war was not just immoral. It was counterproductive. It was a failure. It achieved the opposite of what it was supposed to achieve. Jeffries then connected that strategic failure to the economic pain that Americans are feeling. Higher gas prices, higher food prices, directly attributable to the Trump Republican reckless war of choice in Iran. That is the bridge. The war is not just a foreign policy disaster. It is a domestic economic disaster. It is hitting Americans in their wallets. It is making it harder for them to fill their tanks, to feed their families, to make ends meet. That is the connection that Jeffries is making. The war is not happening somewhere else. It is happening here. It is happening at the gas pump. It is happening at the grocery store. It is happening in the bank accounts of working families. Jeffries then praised Senate Democrats for passing a war powers resolution. He said the Senate is on the side of the American people. That is a political argument. It is designed to pressure House Republicans to take a vote. It is designed to force them to go on the record. Do they support the war or not? Do they support the president or do they support the American people? Jeffries is trying to create a wedge. He is trying to force Republicans to choose between their loyalty to Trump and their political survival. He is betting that many of them will choose their political survival. He is betting that the war is so unpopular that Republicans will start to defect. He is betting that the pressure will become unbearable. And he is positioning Democrats as the party that is listening to the American people while Republicans are ignoring them. Then came the question about Hegseth. He is coming to Capitol Hill tomorrow to ask for $80 billion more to pay for the Iran war. Jeffries did not hesitate. He said Donald Trump and Secretary Hegseth are responsible for Operation Epic Failure. The notion that they will come to Capitol Hill to try to get an additional $80 billion to continue to waste taxpayer money on an endless war in the Middle East that Donald Trump promised he wouldn't start but would stop is beyond reckless. Then he said the words that no one expected. When Pete Hegseth comes up to Capitol Hill tomorrow, what he should do is submit his letter of resignation. That is a remarkable statement. The House Democratic leader is calling for the Secretary of Defense to resign. He is not waiting for an investigation. He is not calling for hearings. He is not asking for more information. He is saying the Secretary should resign immediately. That is an escalation. It is a signal that Democrats are not going to let the war fade from the headlines. They are going to keep the pressure on. They are going to make Hegseth the face of the war. They are going to make him the symbol of everything that has gone wrong. They are going to force Republicans to defend him or abandon him. Either way, it is a losing proposition for the administration. Jeffries then ran through the Trump administration's failures. Trump promised to lower costs on day one. Costs have not gone down. They have gone up. That is a direct hit. Trump campaigned on the economy. He promised to bring down prices. He promised to make life more affordable. He has failed. Prices are higher. Families are struggling. The economy is not working for ordinary Americans. Trump promised to love and cherish Medicaid. Republicans have enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Millions of Americans are losing their health care. That is a betrayal. Trump promised to protect the most vulnerable. He is hurting them. Trump promised immigration enforcement would target violent felons. Instead, billions of taxpayer dollars are being spent on ICE brutalizing and killing American citizens. That is a moral outrage. ICE is supposed to protect Americans. They are killing them. Trump promised not to start wars in the Middle East. He started one. That is a broken promise. That is a betrayal of the trust that Americans placed in him. Jeffries called Trump a complete and total failure. He said Trump is at extinction-level approval ratings. That is a brutal assessment. Extinction level. It is not a political prediction. It is a verdict. Trump is not just unpopular. He is politically toxic. He is dragging his party down with him. And Republicans in the House and Senate are feeling the heat. Jeffries then outlined the Democratic agenda. Lower the high cost of living. Fix the broken healthcare system. Clean up corruption. Get ICE under control. End the war. That is a simple, clear, and powerful message. It is designed to contrast with the chaos of the Trump administration. It is designed to give voters a reason to vote Democratic. It is not just a list of policy proposals. It is a vision of a better America. An America where families can afford to live. An America where healthcare is a right, not a privilege. An America where the government is not corrupt. An America where immigrants are treated with dignity. An America where the United States is not fighting endless wars in the Middle East. That is the vision that Jeffries is offering. And he is betting that Americans will choose that vision over the chaos, the corruption, and the cruelty of the Trump administration. The press conference ended with questions about the appropriations process, the New York primaries, and the America 250 celebration. Jeffries handled each question with the same disciplined message. Republicans are extreme. Democrats are reasonable. The Trump administration is a failure. The American people are suffering, and Democrats are the only ones who can fix it. On the appropriations process, he called it a bridge to nowhere. He said Republicans are wasting time bringing bills that are dead on arrival in the Senate. He said Democrats are willing to sit down and chart a bipartisan path forward, but Republicans are not interested. That is the standard Democratic message. Republicans are extreme. Democrats are reasonable. Republicans are unwilling to compromise. Democrats are willing to work with anyone. It is a message designed to appeal to independent voters who are tired of the gridlock. On the New York primaries, he said he is standing behind every incumbent. He said he is watching the open seat races closely. He said the DCCC has full faith and confidence in Susan DelBene. He did not get drawn into a debate about the Democratic Socialists. He did not criticize them. He did not praise them. He said, "We will see what happens." That is a strategic choice. He is not going to alienate the progressive wing of his party. He is not going to alienate the moderate wing. He is going to keep the party united. On the America 250 celebration, he said, "Freedom 250 is closely connected to Donald Trump and Vanilla Ice." That is a joke. It is a way of dismissing the Trump-affiliated organization without getting into a serious debate about it. He said the nonpartisan America 250 celebration should be the vehicle for celebrating America. It is about lifting up who we are as a people, liberty and justice for all, free and fair elections, equal protection under the law, not a perfect country, but a country that is always committed to marching toward a more perfect union. That is the message. America is not perfect, but it can be better, and Democrats are the ones who will make it better. Jeffries' performance is a reminder of why he is the House Democratic leader. He is disciplined. He is message-driven. He does not get distracted. He does not take the bait. He stays on message. He delivers the verdict. And he leaves. Every word he spoke was calculated to reinforce the Democratic narrative. The war is a failure. The administration is a failure. The president is a failure. And the American people are suffering because of it. That is the message. And he delivered it with precision, with force, and with the kind of moral clarity that is rare in American politics. This is not just a press conference. It is a preview of the campaign to come. And Jeffries is making it clear that the Democrats are ready to fight.